Have you ever felt completely stuck when things suddenly change? At work, in your life? Yeah, we've all been there. Well, today we're going to break down the super simple but really powerful story that's helped millions of people with that exact feeling. Who moved my cheese? Let's see if we can unpack its best lessons in the next 5 minutes. So let's just start with the one question that's at the absolute heart of this whole thing. Seriously, take a second and think about it. What would you do if you weren't afraid? Keep that question in your head because it's going to be our guide through this whole explainer. All right, to really get this story, you've got to understand its two core metaphors: the cheese that we're all after and the maze we're looking for it in. Okay, first up, the cheese. It's not actually cheese, right? It's a symbol for whatever it is you want in life. That could be a great career, a happy relationship, financial security, you name it. And the maze? Well, that's just wherever you happen to be looking for your cheese. Your job, your industry, your community. It's the world you operate in. Now, the story explores all this through 4 little characters. And honestly, they're really just stand-ins for us. They represent the 4 classic ways we all react when our cheese gets moved. So you've basically got 2 teams here. First, they're the mice, sniff and scurry. They're simple, they operate on instinct, they sniff out change early, and they scurry into action. No overthinking, they just go. Then you have the little people, hem and haw. They're way more complex, like us. They analyze, they worry, they get emotional, and all that thinking can totally paralyze them. As we go, see which one sounds a little bit like you. So picture this. At the beginning of the story, life is great. All 4 of them find this massive stash of cheese, and everything is perfect. But you know how it goes. Perfect situations don't tend to last forever. They've hit the absolute jackpot at what the book calls cheese station C. Life is good, it's easy, and they get comfortable. So comfortable, in fact, that they start taking it all for granted. They just assume that big pile of cheese will be there forever. Ever been there? I think we all have. And then, bam, the inevitable happens. They show up one morning, and the cheese is gone. Just gone. The thing they built their whole life around has vanished overnight, and this is the moment that changes absolutely everything. And this is where you see the huge difference in how they react. The mice, sniff and scurry, they're not even surprised. They kind of noticed the cheese pile was getting smaller, so they were ready. They just immediately take off into the maze to find more. But hem and haw? Oh, they are completely blindsided. They get angry, they feel like victims, and they just stand there shouting, "Who moved my cheese?" They're just paralyzed by shock. So, while Hem stays put, totally frozen in fear and denial, one of them, Haw, decides something has to change. And Haw's journey into the maze, well, that's where all the real lessons are. You see, Haw starts to get it. He realizes that just standing around waiting for the old cheese to magically reappear is, well, it's pointless. He tries to get his buddy Hem to come with him. Come on, we gotta go find new cheese. But Hem is just too afraid. He's dug in his heels and refuses to accept that things have changed. So Haw has to make this really brave, really tough choice. He's gotta go it alone. And think about how terrifying that is, leaving your friend, leaving the only place you've ever felt safe. But before he goes, he starts writing what he's learning on the maze wall, kind of hoping that Hem might see it and eventually follow. And here's his first huge realization, which he scribbles on the wall. It's a fundamental truth, really. If you do not change, you can become extinct. Simple as that. Adapt or get left behind. Now, out in the maze, Haw is scared. Of course he is. But then he has this amazing breakthrough. He realizes that the fear he's building up in his own head is way, way worse than the actual situation. So he does something incredible. He learns to laugh at himself for being so afraid. And that simple act, it gives him power over his fear. And as he starts to move, he finds little bits of new cheese along the way. It gives him just enough strength and courage to keep going. So he jots down his next lesson. Movement in a new direction helps you find new cheese. In other words, just taking that first step creates new opportunities. And this leads to a massive shift in his thinking. He always believed that staying put at the empty station was the safe option. But now he gets it. The most dangerous thing you can possibly do is stay in a situation that no longer has what you need. Real safety, it's in the search. He writes this on the wall too, just to really let it sink in. The true risk isn't exploring the unknown maze. The true risk is staying put while the world moves on without you. So Ha's courage, his willingness to face down his own fear, it doesn't just help him survive. It leads him to a reward that is so much bigger than anything he could have possibly imagined. Eventually, he stumbles upon New Cheese Station N. And you guys, this place is amazing. It's not just a replacement for what he lost. It's bigger, it's better, and it's filled with all these incredible new kinds of cheese he never even knew existed. The reward for embracing change wasn't just getting back to normal, it was finding a way better normal. And in that moment, it all clicks. He realizes the cheese isn't the real prize. The real prize was the journey itself. It was the person he became by facing his fear, by adapting, by taking control. That wisdom is something no one can ever take away from him. So, what is all this wisdom he gained? Well, Haas summarized everything he learned on the walls of the new cheese station, basically creating a perfect little cheat sheet for anyone, anywhere, who's facing a big change. He laid out all of his lessons right there on the wall. He wrote them down hoping that his old friend Hem, and the Hem inside all of us, might one day find them and use them as a map to get out of that stuck place and into a better future. And here are the big takeaways. First, change happens. It's just a fact of life, so expect it. You've got to anticipate it and monitor it. Next, adapt, and adapt quickly. Then, and this is a big one, learn to enjoy change. See it as an adventure. And finally, be ready to change quickly and enjoy it all over again. And that brings us to the final, most liberating piece of advice in the whole story. Move with the cheese and enjoy it. So the next time your world shifts, the question to ask yourself isn't, why did this happen? It's, how soon can I start enjoying the adventure of finding what's next?